Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for clicking. It means a lot that you guys keep clicking. If you guys keep clicking, I'll keep making. And today I want to talk about this new release cast. We finally got an official release. Obviously, we've known this cast for about 2 months, thanks to InsideSurvivor.com. But as of about 2 hours ago, as I'm recording this, the season has officially dropped as far as the EW interviews go, as well as the players' bios. And those are really like the real juicy stuff, because that's how you can really start to make some guesses as to who they're going to be, what type of characters and players. And so today I'm going to go through all 18 players and their bios. Their bios ask them questions like, what are their pet peeves? What have they overcome in their life? What do they like? What do they not like? It's all of it, really. It encapsulates them as people, and I think they're very important. And every year I can really get a sense for how the cast is going to be based on these bios. So this is big. This is super important. If you haven't already, subscribe if you're new, because it's free, it's easy, and it really helps the channel out. Okay, so the first castaway that we're going to look at is I'm gonna try. It's Nneka. That's my best guess. If I get it wrong, you guys can roast me in the comments. She's from Texas. She's always lived in the exact same town. She's a pharmacist, and her favorite hobbies are traveling, biking, and cooking. 3 words to describe her would be joyful, hardworking, and trustworthy. The first thing that comes to mind is that mom archetype that we see constantly, that team mom type of a lady who never really wins the season and sometimes takes up that GOAT role in 3rd place. Pet peeves: mediocrity and laziness. I like this a lot. It shows that she's going to be a big character, and that she doesn't just want to be some random person who doesn't really have an impact on the show. Her greatest accomplishment is her family. Makes sense. Again, the whole mom archetype. What's something that we never know from looking at you? How tough and resilient and determined I can be. Who's your hero? Her dad is her hero. He overcame so many obstacles from his childhood through his adult years. Not only thrived, but brought so many others along with him. And I see definitely a sense of she's come from not nothing, but definitely less, and has tried to do what her parents did for her, or specifically her dad did, which is make her kid's life as comfortable as possible. Again, that mom type. And of course, her hero is obviously going to be Sari. I mean, that's kind of what you expect here from the team mom archetype, really the most aggressive team mom player. She wants to play a social game, it seems like. She says that she can win because when she sets her mind to something, she can accomplish anything. Again, kind of a bland answer there, but this looks like a very good character. That I've also heard ramblings that she's a Trump supporter, so definitely very interesting. Not something that you would expect Survivor to cast nowadays, because they're so bland and woke and spineless, but I'm surprised that they made this cast. And if it ends up being true that she is a Trump supporter, I think it's a very unique casting choice that I'm personally a big fan of. Gabler, although I guess his nickname is just Gabler. Again, also from Texas, but now lives in Idaho. He's a heart valve specialist. I have no idea what that means, guys. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know what that means, honestly. His favorite hobbies are camping, hunting, fishing, skiing. So he's definitely an outdoorsy type of guy. You can kind of tell by his getup that they tried to make him look like that on the island as well. He says intense, energetic, and fun are 3 words to describe him. Definitely not the 3 best for Survivor. You want to have things like resilient, things like socially, you don't have things like extroverted, but being overly intense on Survivor can lead people to be really uncomfortable around you. And again, when people are not comfortable around you, you're going to have a tough time. His pet peeves are unfairness and men in skinny jeans. The second one we can kind of agree on there. Although slim jeans, I'm kind of a fan of slim jeans. Skinny jeans, though, 100%. Unfairness, I think that's stupid. I think the world's unfair. I think for him to say that his pet peeves when things are unfair, that's kind of stupid to me. His greatest accomplishment, again, his family. So a lot of family bodies here. Definitely an older cast just from these first 2, but then again, we'll see. He says he has a hard and busy life, and that he's overcome obstacles and is staying strong. He likes his time alone. His father is his hero, and that his father was a Green Beret. And he'd say that his favorite person and the person who he'd like to play the game like is Sandra. She was always in the right place at the right time, and she had phenomenal strategies and gameplay. I don't know where he got that last part, but the first part, yeah, she was always at the right place at the right time. I don't know if that was necessarily from her own doing, but she was definitely there. She can thank whatever put us on this earth for that amazing luck. And why do you believe you can be the sole survivor? And his answer was yes. What? What a burger. Oh my God. This is interesting. I think this is going to be like maybe more dumb version of Brad from 41. It seems like this guy definitely has that country aspect, but seems to have that northerner way of thinking. It's weird. Like, he has country traits, but then again, you go to here and it's like unfairness. That's not something like a country man would say. So I feel like it's very interesting. They must have cast somebody who doesn't really fit into their quote unquote archetype, which I guess is not the worst thing in the world. Although moving from Texas, like, that's so weird. Why? All right, next one, Noelle Lambert. Obviously, the big thing you can see is that she is a paraplegic. She's from New Hampshire. She's always lived in New Hampshire. She's a U.S. Paralympian, so she went to the Olympics. She likes snowboarding, traveling, hanging with friends, tenacious, outgoing, determined. So this, again, kind of seems like more like a very strong female, but not in a way that's annoying, more of a strong-willed female, not a strong personality or an overly masculine female. Her pet peeves are lazy people, which I think that's badass coming from her. To like, imagine like you're sitting there being lazy and a girl with one leg, it's just like, oh, I hate lazy people. Slow drivers. Okay, so she's fast like me. She likes to go fast. Phony people. She's gonna have an issue with that on Survivor. Obviously, people are always playing a game, playing an act. People are always lying. So I hope that doesn't really get to her. The accomplishment she's most proud of is after her leg was amputated in 2016, she returned to play Division I lacrosse. In just 2 years, she made the Tokyo Paralympic track and field team and set an American record in the 100-meter dash. Very, very impressive stuff. She seems like a great girl so far. What is something that we would never know from looking at her is that she's not just someone to feel sorry for, and that she's more of an athlete, and in fact, as she says, a quote, tremendous athlete. And so she does not like being pitied for her leg, which is pretty admirable. Her mom is her hero. She says that the past survivor that she'd like to play the game like is Kelly Wentworth on her second season, which is very specific and not necessarily the best game to play. Obviously, you like a game where she's in control socially, whereas in Kelly, I mean, she plays a great idle play and then uses that to kind of catapult her to the end. But that's a very, very rare idle play, especially now with all the advantages. There's no way that you get 8 votes on you at the merge. It's very rare, especially if people know that you have idols, which again, in this new era, it's almost very, very common for people to know that you have idols, especially at the merge with all of the conversating and cross alliances and things like that. Why do you believe that you can be the sole survivor? She said that she has the ability to form friendships early, and that she'll use that to her advantage. It seems to me like this is definitely a strong-willed girl. I don't know if she has necessarily the right approach to the game, as far as maybe being a little bit more cutthroat, and not really being socially all there. She does seem to be, for someone with one leg, she seems to be very, very confident, maybe almost a little bit too confident. I think even a person with 2 legs, this would be a little bit too strong. I definitely think, based off of her, saying that she's tenacious, outgoing, and determined, and that lazy people, slow drivers, and phony people are her pet peeves. It definitely seems like shit. Like, if you're not going to join her, then you need to get out of her way. So we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't translate onto the island, but we'll never know. Owen Knight. This guy looks really, really interesting from his picture. Definitely more like a nerd, like I'd say more like the guy who went home in the pre-merge of Ghost Island, Jacob Duran. Yeah, that's who it is. So he's a college admissions director, which is really interesting. He likes backpacking, hiking, video games, taking coaching fitness classes. What? Okay, I'm gonna pretend like I know what that means. 3 words: loyal, charismatic, passionate. This guy is screaming like runner up, or like person who gets booted out at the merge because he's not a good enough player and kind of gets sniped out. Like the second in command who either gets to the end and loses to their first in command, or gets booted out because of their first command's actions. Pet peeves: people who are entitled, people who don't know what to do at a 4-way stop. Very specific, and I really don't like when people get quirky. Like I'm sure he thought that was funny. Like I'm sure he really sat there and said, "Oh, like it's not funny. I'm sorry, bro. It's just not. It's not that funny. Like I swear, bro. Like I'm being so honest with you, bro. And like you generally seem like a pretty cool guy. That's not very funny, my guy. Like let's do better with the jokes. What's the accomplishment that you're most proud of? Being named an admission director at my age is rare. to be named director at my alma mater reminds me that the grind has been worth it. Interesting. What is something that we never know from looking at you? He's a great public speaker. He played football in high school and was rush chair for his fraternity. If someone in the comments can tell me what a rush chair is, I would love to know what the hell that is. It seems like he uses his EQ more than his IQ, which is actually good for Survivor. You want to have a high emotional intelligence, although intelligence itself is still more important than emotional intelligence overall, because if you're dumb but you're really, really good socially, it's much better if you're just good at both than just good at one. His hero is his parents. We've definitely heard that before. He liked to play the game like Adam Klein, keep his threat level low, had good relationships, and was authentic superfan self. So he definitely wants to be liked by the public. I don't really like people who go into the game and like are trying to be a fan favorite already, because they're so focused on that they forget that the game comes first. You can look horrible on TV, but $1 million looks amazing in your bank account. Okay, next we have Justine Brennan, who's from California. She definitely seems like a California girl. She's 29 years old. She likes cooking and golfing and oil painting. And if there is any California hobby that is more obvious, it's that. She's self-sufficient, resourceful, and witty, so definitely more of an independent type. Her pet peeves are when people walk slowly right in front of you, when people open the door for someone and then they don't say thank you. I think that's stupid, though, because opening the door for somebody is an act of kindness. You do acts of kindness not in expectation of a thank you, but just because it's nice to do. I don't think you should expect a thank you, although it would be nice. And when people are passive aggressive, she seems pretty passive aggressive. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like she's the person who she hates the most. Her most proud accomplishment, and I read this paragraph just now before I got here, is essentially crashing her parents' car, then having to buy it back and bargaining down the price about half. That's her greatest accomplishment in her entire life. Very, very sad. People think that she's not athletic, but apparently she is, according to her. Her dad raised her as like his son that he never had. On top of that, her hero is obviously her dad. She says that she wants to play like Joe Anglem, which is, if there was ever a red flag more apparent, it's that. Joe goes out at the merge just about every single time he plays. I don't know why she would want to replicate that game. Next person. Okay, the next person we have is Cody Asamacher, if I'm getting that right. He seems like quite the, let's just put it the Aussie. I don't know. His name seems Australian. His look seems Australian. And I can hear his Australian accent right now. But apparently, he's from Iowa. I don't know. Very non-Australian. But now he lives in Hawaii. It's interesting. Imagine living in Hawaii. But so you grow up in Iowa and then you move to Hawaii. Like, how? I don't know. To me, that's just so weird. Like, why do you want to live in Hawaii? I feel like Hawaii is the place you go on vacation to, not the place that you live in. It's almost too good of a life. There's just nowhere to go but down if you ever leave Hawaii, ever. But, who knows? He said his hobbies are going out with friends, traveling, and being outdoors. Again, why would you travel? You live in Hawaii, bro. 3 words to describe him are optimistic, charismatic, and fearless. So he seems like a real nice, likable guy. Definitely like the fan favorite type, it's seeming like, if I had to guess. His pet peeves are lazy people, social media addicts, and clipping nails in a public location, which honestly is pretty relatable. Who wants to see nails flying all over the place? Like, oh, I gotta clip them. No, that's just gross. As far as the lazy people, again, it's very common. But it makes sense. If you're gonna go on Survivor, you're probably not a very lazy person, or you are, and they cast you for that specific reason because the other players probably hate lazy people. And social media addicts, I'm guilty of this. I think most people are guilty of it, who are between the ages of, I'd say, about 10 and 40. Like most people are going to be addicted to social media. That's just how it's going to go because it is so addicting. The people who are watching this right now I make money off of you because you're addicted to social media. I'll own it. And I think it's definitely a problem. I don't know if it's necessarily the biggest pet peeve in the world, but it's definitely a problem for sure. What is his greatest accomplishment? He said he's proud of his relationships, which is actually a really good answer. He seems like a really nice stand-up guy. Now I'm wondering if he's going to be able to capitalize on that and play aggressively while also being a nice guy and getting that real jury likability factor, or if he's just going to be way, way too nice and get stomped all over. We'll just have to see. Several of his bottom front teeth are fake, according to him. When he was a kid, his older brother strapped him into a sled behind an ATV in a frozen cornfield, and the sled flipped over. That sounds horrible. His hero is his friend who died of breast cancer in high school. So very, very, again, this guy just seems so nice. There's like nothing wrong with him at all. He wants to play like Malcolm. Again, it just seems like he's such like a fan favorite just waiting to happen. I wonder if he got to the merge, if he would get that fan favorite edit. And unless he won, because then, obviously you can't be a fan favorite edit if you win the game. And then you get a winner's edit. And he knows that he can win Survivor because Survivor and him were meant to be, per se. It took 20 years for him to realize it, but he thinks that him and Survivor just have that bond where he knows the show like that. So it's interesting. This guy seems very, very likable, like a guy that you'd want to be best friends with for sure. And I'm curious to see how he's going to play the game. Next person, Mariah Young. Obviously very colorful. You can see right off the bat that they definitely wanted her to look very colorful, because not only is her hair like that, but the outfit that they chose for her is also very colorful. She's from Philadelphia, has always lived in Philadelphia. She's in her late 20s. She's a teacher. She likes shopping, traveling, and creating content. So the creating content leads me to believe that she's a TikTok star. If you guys want a video on her, let me know. I'm going to do videos probably on Nneka, because of her political stances, probably on Mike Gabler, because he's just a crazy country dude, and I'll probably do one on Noelle as well, the leg amputee, because that all just seems very interesting. Her pet peeves are negative Nancys, Debbie Downers, and bullies. So she says she's all positive and all cool, but I have a feeling she has that negative side to her that only comes out against people who she disagrees with politically. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just assuming. Maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions. Maybe I'm being a negative Nancy, as she would say, or a Debbie Downer perhaps, but that's my guess with her. I don't know. I've seen some of her social media. She doesn't look like the most bearable person in the world. What's the accomplishment that she's the most proud of? She's proud of the life that she's building with her fiance. She's proud of being a teacher, and she's proud of making it through college, and also opening her selfie museum. Is that supposed to be funny? I don't know. Whatever. Something that we wouldn't know from looking at her is that she's terrified of clowns. Well, that is something, because she is as colorful as one. I mean, it's crazy that she's terrified of a clown. What? That doesn't make any sense. Who is her hero? Her hero is herself. Wow, that might be the quote so far, the quote that stands out to me the most. Her hero is her own self. Tell me down below in the comments if you think that that's too self-absorbed, or if that there's somehow an argument that could excuse that amount of ego. Because even me, the guy who's very confident in himself, who basically argues against adults all day at the tender age of 16, I would never say that my hero is myself. I think that's a little bit too far. I don't know, maybe. She says that she saves herself each and every time when there's a problem, and her mom is her ultimate hero. Okay, there we go. She saves herself there by not looking like an absolute narcissist, but thank God. She says James is her favorite Survivor player. I don't know why she would want to play like the guy who got voted out with 2 idols in his pocket at Final 7. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. She wants to stay true to her alliance as best as she can and stick it out to the end. Again, very, very stupid. It's almost like she thinks the other players are somehow going to find these interviews before the game starts, because she's talking in very politically correct ways, like, oh, stay true to your alliance, stick it out to the end. Like, it's almost like she thinks her alliance members are going to see this during the game. It's very, very silly. Like, you're only talking to the audience. Why do you believe that you can be sole survivor? There isn't anything in the world that I cannot accomplish. My mindset has gotten me to the finish line of all my dreams. So she's very self-confident, but on top of that, she doesn't like people who are negative. So I think what she really hates is like someone who's really just down in the dumps, hates themselves, hates everyone around them. And I don't really think she's gonna find those people on Survivor. So she might actually do good. I'm already annoyed by her personally, but I think people may really, really like her, similar to like a Marianne, where I personally found Marianne to be deplorable to listen to and very, very annoying. But it seems like a lot of people did like Marianne, and so good for Marianne. Next person I got is Sami Layadi, I think. Okay, he's 19 years old. He's always lived in Las Vegas. He's a pet cremator, which is, wow, that is sinister. That is some sinister work. But whatever pays the bills, and burns the cats. His favorite hobby is sports, fitness, journaling. Three words to describe him are unpredictable, tenacious, and indecisive. That's the second tenacious that we've gotten so far. He seems to be very like leaning into this young archetype because he says he's unpredictable and indecisive. Now, those are two things that are very different. One of those is very good. You don't want to be predictable in Survivor. One of those is extremely bad. You want to be decisive in Survivor. You don't want to be going back and forth and get like Sarah Lacina at the merge of Cagayan. His pet peeves are excuses, laziness, and being woken up before noon on weekends. See, now that's kind of being a hypocrite because he's getting mad at people for being lazy, but then he's being lazy himself on the weekends. Now pick one. Are you lazy or are you not lazy? What is the accomplishment he's most proud of? Probably getting his Eagle Scout because he struggled mightily. That is an interesting word to use there. Mightily with completing merit badges and often took 3 to 4 classes just to get them. Interesting. He's definitely devoted there for sure. His background is very culturally diverse, with my father being an immigrant from Morocco. Nice. Who's his hero? His grandpa, the Dale Donald man. He's the hardest working man he knows. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Which past survivor would he want to play the game like? Kelly Wentworth. Why so many Kelly Wentworths? Why do you guys want to get on the bottom and then have to idle your way, through not through the game, but basically at a point play and idle and then have that propel your game? I don't think that's the way that you want to play going in. Maybe they're talking about personality because Kelly's a very laid back person who also has that killer instinct. But I don't know. I genuinely feel like Kelly Wentworth is not the game that you want to recreate. I mean, her first time out was horrible, and her second time out was her best game. And even then, she really had no chance to win with Jeremy there. And then he thinks he can be the sole survivor because he's too determined to get hungry and to get comfortable. Seems like a nice kid. I don't know if he's necessarily our winner for sure, but he might be a fan favorite, or at least someone who tries to play the game, maybe tries to flame out a little bit and maybe early merge, or he could be like a pre-merge boot who just never fits in socially with his tribe because of his age. Next person that I have is Karla Cruz Godoy. This reminds me of Jeannie kind of, although it's weird because her age is 28, so she does not look her age at all. She looks like 45 at best. Holy Jesus Christ. Wow, that is depressing for her. She's from Delaware. No, she's from California, but now lives in Delaware. She's an educational project manager. I don't know what the hell that is. If someone in the comments can let me know, that'd be fantastic. She likes traveling, brunching, and karaoke. Karaoke, that's weird. Why are you singing to a mic? You do not have an album. I don't know why you're singing. That's kind of weird. Traveling, again, that's pretty common. And brunching, that's how you know she's absolutely deplorable, is that she brunches. Like she uses it like a verb. Like she says, I brunch. Not like I'm having a brunch, but I do brunching. That's absolutely deplorable. 3 words to describe you are ambitious, gregarious, and adaptable. Interesting words there. Pet peeves: tardiness, pessimism, and slow drivers. For me, the thing about people whose pet peeve is pessimism, they're usually optimists. And I'm not a big fan of optimists. I feel like to me, that mindset of just being positive no matter what is not realistic, nor does it solve problems. It just may make you feel better in the present, but later on, when you don't deal with those problems now, those problems will get much, much worse. I'm immediately seeing that her parents are Mexican immigrants who became teenage parents at a young age of 16, which led her to grow up in a low-income community where college was only a dream. But let me guess, she went to college and fulfilled all of her dreams, and she's just the best person ever. That seems to be the kind of stories that we're seeing. People love to build themselves up as such an underdog in life, and then they came back, and it seems to be a common thing on 41, 42, and this season. And so I think they're either casting for it or they're casting people who just generally want themselves to be like an underdog who came from nothing. I came from the slums, which is kind of cringy in my personal opinion. And she got a full ride scholarship. Yeah, exactly what I thought. This queer Chicana can do what? I don't understand why her race or her sexual orientation inhibited her in any way there. In fact, if anything, it only helped her. I'm very confused why she needed to mention that. That was kind of weird. What's something that we would never know from looking at you? She's incredibly competitive and an overachiever in every aspect of my life. Really? Don't say. Her hero's her grandfather. He immigrated to the U.S. from a country that I cannot even begin to start to pronounce. That's just ridiculous. To provide a better life for his family. Again, very, very common on here. She wants to play the game like Sari feels. Again, just so common. It's either Sari or Wentworth. I don't know why these people want to play the game like people who have never won the show. It's very, very confusing. And she calls herself adaptable, resilient, gregarious. Again, I keep seeing this word that I don't really know the full definition of. I feel kind of stupid. And her ancestors have her back. I don't know what your ancestors are doing, but I would hope that they're not part of the game, and if they are, that you should probably be kicked out for using ghosts. And I mean, it's just stupid. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of this one. She seems to be kind of that like started from the bottom, now I'm here, and that's just not like the vibe that I think I actually get from her. I see someone who's maybe more privileged in life and who wants to feel like they came from nothing. Next person we got is Ryan. Ryan is living in El Paso, which is a great town, well, really city, I guess. His occupation is a warehouse associate, so he seems like someone who actually has worked his way up from nothing, from being, a person who worked in the warehouse to now kind of having ownership over it, or being more of a manager type position. He says he's charismatic, outgoing, and humorous. He likes fishing, hiking, and carpentry. So again, a very blue collar guy for sure. Pet peeves are bullies, laziness, and self-entitlement. Again, all Southern things. He seems very Southern grown, and he may not fit in for that reason, but he seems like my type of guy. He says that his connection that he made with his mother after her stroke is his greatest accomplishment to him. Very, very sweet. Again, that real Southern charm for sure is coming out. He was born 3 months early with mild cerebral palsy, and that doctor said he would never walk, and that somehow he was able to walk. I mean, fantastic story. His hero is his dad. He helped raise us while being in the Army, and he put 110% into both. Extremely impressive. He wants to play like Rupert. Wow. My opinion of him just went from 100 to 0. Wow, he was doing so good. He's so likable, and he's got that Southern charm, which is great for like a winner. And then he wants to play like Rupert. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. So first Joe Anglam, now Rupert. We've had a bunch of Kellys and a bunch of Cheries. Who wants to win the game? Like, I'm generally just curious, like, who wants to win? I'm so utterly confused. And he says he's a triple threat. He can socialize easily. Okay. He's naturally strong and okay. Quick in puzzles. He's great at forming bonds and can influence others with a silver tongue. I don't see any strategy in here. I'm just confused. He said he's a triple threat. It's outwit, outplay, outlast, and I'm only seeing really 2 of those, maybe even 1. It's interesting. This guy seems confident in himself for sure. He knows who he is, and I don't know if he necessarily wants to be like Rupert as much as he may think he does. And hopefully he doesn't live up to this this horrible take of wanting to play the game like Rupert. Next person we got is Lindsay Carmine. This is obviously our teen mom archetype. Definitely going to be the mom of the tribe. She's a nurse, of course, fits in perfectly. Her favorite hobbies, and get ready because I'm gonna have to take like a deep breath. Volunteering, traveling, reading, exercising, gardening, and projects on our homestead, outdoor adventures, spending time with family and friends. Jesus, everyone else put 3 and she put 17. Definitely that mom feeling where she just wants to tell everyone about her family and her life. And you know what? It's not that bad of a thing. She says she's relentless, resourceful, and compassionate. Her pet peeves are people that cut in the line, smacking gum, and when people play games on their phones and don't put the phone on silent. Again, all very mom type of things. The first one kind of highlighting her need for things to be fair. Of course, when you're a mom, you always want to regulate. Okay, well, that's not fair for this kid. That's fair for this kid. The smacking gum, obviously, moms hate that. And the phone being on silent, I'm sure it gets annoying with her kids. Her greatest accomplishment is that she's never strayed from her goals. Kind of vague, but okay. We wouldn't know that, especially as she gets older, she gets more competitive. Okay, that's kind of a very generic thing to say from a team mom archetype player, right? Because you look at them, you're like, oh, they're not competitive. And so, of course, you'd be like, well, actually, I am competitive. I'm quirky. I'm special. I don't know if that's necessarily special. I feel like most of these team mom archetypes are very competitive. Look at Dawn. Look at Kathy. They're very, they're not bad players at all. They just lack that killer instinct. Unlike, for example, a Kathy, who was really one bad kind of turn of an alliance of Vesepia away from winning the game. You know, it's very rare that a team mom archetype can actually go through the game and get to the end and then win. Usually they either play bad, passively, because they're, this is so sweet, and then they end up losing. Look at Don, look at Julia from EOE, or they play way too cutthroat and they end up just being kind of a bitch. Cass is one. I mean, it's not as common, that one, as much as the first one. Her hero is healthcare providers, kind of generic, whatever. She wants to play the game like Natalie, mental and physical strength, Sarah, strategic, and Michelle, social. Very generic answers. I don't really see much thought to that at all. And she believes she can win because she has 20 years worth of reasons why she's going to be the sole survivor. They asked you for a reason why, and you said you have 20 years worth of reasons. I'm not sold. I'm sorry. I'm just simply not sold. Janine Zhang, South Hamilton, Mass. Although she currently lives in San Francisco. Oh, she is going to be quite the hippie. She's a UX designer. I have no idea what that means. And I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it's is that fashion? I have no idea, to be honest. Her favorite hobby is backpacking. Bonus points if it leads to sleeping under the stars. Photography and running. Okay, yeah. So she's probably does video editing maybe. I have no idea, honestly. Actually, her 3 words to describe her are green. What? Oh, she's environmentally conscious, according to her. That's just the most cringe thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And empathetic and witty. This one is going to be extra woke. I can already smell it. Oh, that's gross. Pet peeve. Oh, no. Oh, you just gave me some content. Thank you. Appreciate it. Pet peeves are being mansplained to, people on their phones while you're hanging out. The second one, fantastic pet peeve. I had the same one. First one, you just gave me a bunch of content. You now have your own video. Oh, I can already see the thumbnail. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Janine. Thank you. I really appreciate your dumbassery. What's the accomplishment she's most proud of? The body of work that she's most proud of is that she bridged her 2 majors. Oh, it just eeks of college kid. My professor indoctrinated me into the woke ideology. Oh my God, that's just, ooh, I'm so excited to cover this. What's something that we never know from looking at you? They assume that you're extroverted because she's very effusive and engaged. Wow, she wants to sound smart, doesn't she? Especially when meeting someone for the first time, but I'm definitely an introvert. Oh, you're quirky, like an introvert. You're so cool. Oh my gosh. And who is your hero and why? Her father paved the way for her family and her life as she knows it. Again, very common. My father came from nothing, or I came from nothing. That's usually what we're going to get from these people. It gets really old after a while. I'm not going to lie. She wants to play the game like Kim Spradlin. Finally a winner, and let alone one of the best winners ever. So, okay, this is actually a good player. I'll give her that. And she explains it pretty well after that, talking about how Kim controlled the game with her interpersonal relationships. Oh God, no, it's not a good quote. She straddled the perfect balance of executing huge game moves without being pegged as the mastermind, and is feminism at its finest. Ugh. Oh my God. Wow. She just earned herself not only 1 video, but now 2. Good job. And Andrea bulky because she's outdoorsy, carried her weight, and manipulated people while staying likable. Okay. Given the evolution of the game, she sees the winner as blah, blah, blah. Okay, nothing important. I'm just looking for any woke stuff at this point. Okay, this girl's horrible. I mean, I love that I'm going to be able to get content out of her, but I guess it is fair that if they're going to have some cool base people like Nneka, then they have to have some ridiculously horrible people like this one. But she seems not only entitled, but privileged, and someone who feels like they're probably smarter than everybody else. She uses these gigantic words, environmentally conscious. I'm effusism, or where is it? It's somewhere, but it's just ridiculous. And on top of that, obviously, she mentions feminism now, twice in her thing, about questions that are completely not related to feminism at all. So if she's bringing it up, then she'll definitely bring it up if it actually comes up in conversation. I'm curious to see how much of a dumpster fire she is of a cast. Hopefully she goes home in pre-merge in an absolute blaze of flames. Jesse Lopez. This guy's 30 years old. He lives in Durham, North Carolina. Okay. Political science PhD. Interesting. Now I'm curious to see if he's more of a Democrat or a Republican. Favorite hobbies, playing chess. I love playing chess. By the way, if you guys play chess down below, join my Discord server in the description and send me your chess.com username. I'll play you guys. I don't mind. Dancing with his daughter. Oh, that's cute. Binge watching shows after the chess player and the dancer fall asleep. Okay. 3 words to describe you: aware, ambitious, unbreakable. Pet peeve, quitters. Yup. People who complain about things that aren't willing to change. Okay. And personalized license plate. Last one's a little bit random, but I don't know. These are interesting. I feel like they probably have some hidden meanings behind them that I don't want to commit to whether or not they're good or bad. Let's just read some more. His greatest accomplishment is his family. Okay, great answer. He does research at Duke. You look at me and don't see a scholar. As Biggie says, though, I'm sicker than your average. Wow, he quoted Biggie Smalls in his survival. Wow, that's awesome. I like that a lot, actually. Who's your hero and why? His wife. Awesome. Great stuff. Which past survivor will you play the game like, Christian or Spencer? Okay. Again, I think he's going based off their personality and not their gameplay. No one wants to play the game like Spencer or Christian, because Christian's threat level was way too high, and Spencer simply was just on the bottom the entire game. But again, personality, that's great. And he said them if they got jumped into a gang at 15. I like it a lot. I've researched voting behavior for years. I don't care if I'm out there with someone who's never missed an episode of Survivor or someone who's played 3 times already. They're not going to hold a candle to me strategically. Okay, I don't know about the second one, because playing the game versus people who haven't played the game, I mean, it's nearly impossible because of that experience. It's so valuable. That's why we see returnees kind of always, at least some of them, get into the end in mixed seasons with both returnees and newbies. He does seem a little bit entitled, but like he's constantly talking about how he researches at Duke's and he's dealing with Harvard level researchers on a daily basis, and that no one can hold a candle to him. So he definitely has that ego for sure. I'm looking at his face. Yeah, I don't know. He seems like a cool guy, but he seems like he could probably be a real dick if he wanted to. Next person, Kathleen Carr. Oh my God, Jesus! All right, I'm of course talking about her personality that I'm looking at. It's nothing else. Continuing on. Wow, I'm forgetting English. Okay, so she lives in Austin, Texas. Wow. She lives in Austin, Texas. Designer, fashion design, and most forms of art. Thrifting your grandparents' old clothes, knickknacks, skating, boxing, underwater exploring are her hobbies. She says she's groovy, charismatic, and creative. She doesn't like narrow-minded, judgmental people. That screams liberal who is narrow-minded and judgmental, but okay, whatever. Also, people who have no reverence for Mother Nature and all of her beautiful beings. Yep, she's a hippie. She's one of the hot hippie girls. Ugh, stay away from those girls, guys. Seriously. What's the accomplishment you're most proud of? I've fought through many painful experiences. Again, it's just what experiences are they? Okay, great job not answering the question. What's something that we'd never know from you from looking at you? I've always carried a deep spiritual wonder and appreciation for life and nature. Really? I never noticed that thing that you've been talking about for the past 5 paragraphs. I know it sounds cliche, but her mom is her hero. She's faced much adversity. She's a legend in her eyes and the ultimate survivor to thriver. Interesting. She wants to play the game like Kim Spradlin. Okay. Well, she doesn't talk about how it's a good example of feminism, so it's not as bad as what Janine, I think her name was. So that's good. I think I've got the sweet spot in all the right places. She says she's physically fit and competitive, an out-of-the-box thinker, clever and witty. I don't know. I feel like this girl's probably just like a hippie who's like good-looking, and that's why she's on the show. I don't think she has a great personality, and I definitely don't see that level of strategy, I guess. But then again, she has seen One World, and you've got to be pretty devoted to have seen One World. So maybe she's not at least like some just random recruit. Hopefully. I don't know. James Jones. James Jones is age 37. He's from Philadelphia, always has lived in Philadelphia. This guy already looks amazingly cool. Probably already my favorite player so far. He seems pretty cool just off of first reaction of his face. Occupation is event planner. So he plans events. His favorite hobbies are his own job, finding the best cocktails in the city, and reading and writing. Okay. Nothing. Okay. 3 words to describe you: confident, casual, self-aware. I like self-aware because if you know who you are, then no one will ever have to shock you by telling you who you are, because it's always hard to see who you are from your perspective because you're always looking at everyone else and not yourself. Pet peeves: really bad customer service and pushy salespeople. So, oh wow, okay, so 2 about customer service. Maybe he has some sort of bad past experience. Who knows? His greatest accomplishment is winning the United States Chess Open. We got 2 chess players, baby. Let's go. Largest chess tournament in the U.S. for my rating bracket when I was 12. You're playing against grown people, and I won $1,200. Wow, okay, that's actually really good. That was like $100,000 to me at the time. It gave me the confidence to do anything that I wanted to. Okay, great. He grew up in church. He was an usher and sang choir from the ages of 6 to 17. Nice. I have a deep faith, but it's my own faith. I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm a big believer. Nice. His hero is his mom. Awesome. Again, kind of started from the bottom. Now I'm here. Sort of story that we've seen like 1,000 times. Which past survivor does he want to play the game like? Sandra. Ugh, that's just gross. That's just gross. Sandra's anyone but me will always be my strategy as long as I see the path to the end and I'm with people or have people in which I trust. If I don't have that, then I'll be an agent of chaos, Russell with charm. I'm playing to win and not for 7th place. How are you playing to win and not for 7th place, but you're willing to have anyone go, but if it's not you? I don't understand. Like, you're willing to have all your allies go, but you're not playing for 7th place. That sounds like a 7th place type of game. I don't know. It sounds like kind of like a Carter type of game where he let all of his allies go and then he goes. I don't know. Whatever. And he says that he can manage events at a club on a Friday night. Anything can happen, but whatever issues pop up, you have to handle it. That's why he can win Survivor. Interesting. I don't know. He seems cool. I don't know. Some of the answers were a little bit meh, but he doesn't seem like a bad guy for sure. Okay, continuing on, we have Gio. Wow, Gio is interesting. Again, another one who moved from a state in general to Honolulu, Hawaii. Wow, there's a lot of people on this cast. There's now 2. I don't think we've had like many from Hawaii in the past. He's a project manager. No idea what that means. Hiking, traveling, diving, adaptable, hardworking, resilient, and he strongly dislikes laziness and people who don't have common courtesy. Being that English is his second language, he grew up in the hood and was homeless for a period of time. The accomplishment that he's most proud of is graduating with his associate's degree with a 4.0 GPA. Okay, he says he's shy, quiet, and in his head. Wow, I'm surprised he got on this cast then. He's gay. His husband is his hero. Okay, well, respect. His husband was in the military. That's a very, very good. So he's his hero in real life. It would have to be a combination of Cochran and Boston Rob that he wants to play like. Whew. I mean, I guess it's better than picking Kelly Wentworth and Suri because they won, but they won in such odds and like perfect casting circumstances. Both of them had like the perfect cast for them. Almost kind of fishy in a way, both of them, their wins, but I don't know, whatever. They're both kind of Jeff Probst's like favorites, so I don't know. I think Jeff Probst probably kind of helped him out a little bit on the side, and that he wants people to see that he played his own game. He says in life he's already a survivor, and that's why he'll win. Interesting. The world will see his name. Okay, interesting. Okay, he's very confident. I mean, the picture screams confidence for sure. He's doing that little like eye, like going down, like, oh yeah. My name is Gio. So I don't know. He seems to have some swagger to him. We'll see. Elizabeth Ellie Scott, age 31, and she lives in Salt Lake City. She's a clinical psychologist. She likes rock climbing, skiing, karaoke at dive bars. Clever, perceptive, and authentic. She really doesn't like the she says the only way someone can earn a spot on my bad side is by being inconsiderate or intentionally harmful to others. Social injustice and discrimination make my blood boil. Now, what's her definition? Is it the regular definition, or is it like things that are not at all discrimination? But of course, she's going to assume it is. Again, we'll have to see if she's a wokester or not. But that does kind of scream wokester to me. We'll see. She says she'll always speak up when she observes it, even if it gets her in trouble. Okay. What's the accomplishment she's most proud of? Her education, graduating with a 3.89 GPA. Interesting. She says that most people don't know that she's creative and artsy. She likes to write, paint, and learn new crafts. her abuela. Okay, so she's Latina. Her abuelos, her grandparents are the greatest heroes of her life. She wants to play like Kim Spradlin. Ew, Kelly Wentworth again, guys. That's like 4 or 5 mentions of her name. Why? Why you guys want to play with someone who went out in the pre-merge her first game, was able to basically play an idol and save herself in her second game and still lost, and in her third game goes out at the merge and her number 1 ally betrays her? I don't understand. I really don't. Suri, on the other hand, makes sense. Suri should have won the game. She got screwed over by production kind of doing those weird twists. And people see her as caring and nurturing, and so she'll be afforded more room to subtly manipulate and push for her best interests. She wants to play like Sarah Lucina. Okay, that's a good player to play like. And that she will use her outwitting ability and her natural social skills and cutthroat gameplay to win the game. Interesting. Okay, and we have, I believe, 2 more players? Dwight Moore, who's from Tennessee. Oh, that's pretty cool. Tennessee, I like it. I like the little mini afro. I used to rock that back in the day. Favorite hobbies are skiing, video games, tutoring, and teaching. He says he's ambitious, confident, and strong-willed. He doesn't like someone making a reference to The Office within 2 seconds of learning his name. Oh, because Dwight from The Office. Yeah, that's definitely got to get annoying. Arrogance and refusal to use turn signals when driving. Definitely a big deal. You don't want to be just stopping and, I just got to turn off the road. That's very, very annoying and dangerous. His greatest accomplishment is when he took the SAT in his sophomore year and he ended up getting a perfect score. Okay, so he's a very, very intelligent guy. I'm liking him so far, and I'm not liking him so much. It's not the actual score that he's proud of. So it's not his own accomplishment. It's the fact that hopefully someone felt motivated by seeing Black representation in an academic space. Wow. Just wow. I guess the first thing that comes to mind is, why would you need Black representation in an academic space to do good in school? I'm Black and I don't need an example. I just know better. I know to do well in school and always excel for myself, not for my group, not because I've seen somebody who's bigger than me do it. I just do it because it's the best thing for me. I'm so confused why everyone needs a hero or an idol to look up to. Be your own idol. Like, just make your own way, make your own life. Don't try and copy somebody else. And so I don't understand why it wasn't the actual score. It was just the fact that he's Black, and so that was representing his community. To me, I think an individual is more important than your communities per se. He says he wouldn't know from that we wouldn't know from looking at him that he had a whole career as a journalist. Interesting. National Civil Rights Museum Freedom Awards were given to him. Interesting. His hero is his parents. He wants to be like Wendell. Interesting. That's not the worst game to try and recreate. He wants to play an extremely strong social game, and he thinks he can be the sole survivor because of his social skills and intellect, but also mostly because of his passion for the game. So we'll see. And I think this might be the last one. What do you guys think of the cast? I've kind of gone for a whirlwind for the past hour. I'm going to kind of collect my thoughts, and the next day after this comes out, I'll be dropping about a 10-minute video where I summarize all of my thoughts on this cast after really taking a deep breath and say, okay, like, what is this cast really like? Is this cast better than 42, better than 41? Is it the best ever? Is it the worst ever? It's all going to be in that video tomorrow, so check that out for sure. If you haven't already, subscribed if you're new, because it's easy, it's free, and it really helps the channel out. If that's what, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.